All right, folks, let's come back for our next docket consideration. And as always, I'll call on Ms. Nunn to read the docket, please.
Docket PZ-18-016, application has been filed by Timothy Scott Dobson for the approval of a minor subdivision plat and waiver on approximately 11.446 acres. The property is located at 3200 Old Sligo Road, LaGrange, Sligo. The zoning is AG1, horticulture.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Albee?
Yes, good afternoon again. Amy Albee with Oldham County Planning and Development Services. As Ms. Dunn stated, this is an application filed by Mr. Dobson for the approval of a minor subdivision plat and waiver on approximately 11.446 acres at 3200 Old Sligo Road. The property is zoned AG1 agricultural. This is an aerial view of the property. This is Old Sligo here, and then it's a corner lot, and the other corner is on Winters Lane. So this is an aerial view of the existing site. This is an area view that shows existing drives and structures. The hashed area is existing drives. This is a house, a detached garage, and then these two are barns and a little run-in shed. This just shows that the property is zoned AG1 agricultural as well as all of the surrounding. There is some CO1 over here to the west. The applicant is proposing to create 4 tracts from one existing tract that contains approximately 11.446 acres. According to the definition in section 2.2 of the subdivision regulations, a minor subdivision is a subdivision of land into not more than 3 lots within 5-year time period and not involving a new public street or private road. The definition of a major subdivision is a subdivision of land into 4 or more lots or any subdivision involving a new public street or private road. Also, any division of land beyond the 3 lots within a 5-year time period from a parent tract or tract divided therefrom. So the applicant is proposing to create 4 lots from one rather than 3 lots for one. So they are from one. They are asking for a waiver of that regulation. The 4 tracts, one tract is 1.4 acres, tract 2 is 2.2, tract 3 is 2.4, and tract 4 is 6.1 acres. So if this is the minor plat that was submitted with the application, so you'll see here, this is tract 1, tract 2, tract 3, and tract 4. So this is the proposed configuration. And then this is the proposed configuration on the aerial, just to give you a overview of what it would be. The applicant has stated that it is a hardship of the additional costs required for a major subdivision plat and then the time investment needed for splitting the 2 smaller lots. It is also not feasible to hold the property for 5 years. That is from the applicant's justification statement. If the minor plat request is approved by the commission, and the applicant will be required to submit a minor plat application to staff, which will then be forwarded to the serving agencies for review and comment. So this is looking from Old Sligo Road into the applicant's property at 3200 Old Sligo Road. This is the east view. This is the east view where the other 2 smaller lots are proposed along the eastern side. So I have the area map there that shows where the 2 stars are. That's the open field there that the applicant is proposing 2 lots from. Now this is the west view going back towards LaGrange, and you'll see the intersection here of Winters Lane. This is the southwest adjoining property owner. So this is, if you turn in on Winters Lane, this would be the property to your left. This house also faces Old Sligo Road. These are the barns that are located at the rear of the property. So these would be located on the larger tract, the 6-acre tract. This is the west adjoining property owner. It's hard to see. Would be located, again, if you look at the area map here, this is the tract here, and the house was not visible from the road. This is a barn that is there, and borrowed that copy of the picture from the PVA office to give you an idea of what the house looks like, but you can't see the house actually from the road because of the trees. This is at the driveway of the house that I was just at, looking out Winters Lane to Old Sligo. These are the south adjoining properties, so these are ones that are across the street from the applicant's property on Old Sligo. This is the east adjoining property, so this is on Old Sligo going towards, we'll say, Henry County or 42. So in summary, the applicant is requesting a waiver of section 2.2 of the subdivision regulations regarding minor subdivisions to allow 4 divisions within 5 years. And the approval of minor plat will be technically done at the staff level. That is all that I have.
All
I'm happy
right.
to answer
Ms.
questions.
Albee, any, do we have, Mr. Derek, do you have anything that you'd like to add from the engineer's office? No, sir, no comment. Okay, all right. Mr. Williams, anything from the school board's perspective? Okay, all right. And Ms. Wall, this wouldn't affect traffic, so we're good there. All right. Any questions for Ms. Albee, for staff? Mr. Finney?
What is the reasoning that we are at 3 lots on 5 acres, or what the,
Why is the minor plat rule 3 every 5 years? I was not here when that was determined, so
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I just wonder if there was
One reason could
why it was
be that
established that way.
a private access easement is only allowed to serve 3 tracts of land, so you're not creating a new road. If you had to have a driveway or private drive to serve 4, that's the only reason I can think of, is that it would go to a major subdivision at that level.
Well, and we have definitions for minor subdivision and major subdivision, and it probably relates more than anything to not creating a subdivision by default.
Okay,
By, that if it's spread out over time, it is not a, you can't do a subdivision without going through the major subdivision process.
all right, will each of these lots have their own access to the highway then? One onto Winters and the others onto
Yes.
Old Sligo?
Yes, and those would, this is a county road. Old Sligo is a state highway, so they would have to get encroachments through the state, and that would be reviewed at the time that they would submit their minor plat, and I'll send it out to agencies.
Mr. Finney, I think, reason this was passed, several years ago was, we did not want to see, subdivision, little, baby subdivisions pop up kind of all over the county. This was kind of set up to, like if you had a family farm and you had kids and you wanted to divide off, homes for, for the children or whatever, things like that, that was put into place. And then, but I think the 3 lot versus the 4, was that, every 4 years they could come back, every 5 years you could come back, and pretty soon you got a little subdivision there. So, I think that was some of the rationale to limit it to the 3. And any other questions for, yes, Mr. Klingenfuss?
How long has the applicant owned the property?
I'm not sure, you'd
Be a
have to ask
question
the
for the
applicant that.
applicant. That'd be a question for the applicant.
Okay.
Any additional questions for staff? Yes, sir, Mr. Douglas.
Be for the engineer's office. I have a question for you. When it comes to dividing up these small tracts, does the builder contact the engineer's office regarding stormwater runoff?
It depends on the size of the lot and the acreage in which they're going to be disturbing land. So if they choose to build something on any one of these lots, if they're going to be disturbing over an acre of land, I'm assuming this is residential, correct? If they're going to be disturbing over an acre of land, then they would have to contact us and comply with our erosion ordinances and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into the presentation of the applicant or representative and others in support of the application. We need to get you sworn in, and we'll get your name and address.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
My name is Timothy Scott Dobson. Current address is 2819 Whirlaway, Goshen, Kentucky 40026. I do go by Scott, so
Okay, I just need to ask too, are you representing, I mean, you own the property, you and,
I do with my wife Jennifer,
okay,
which is
so
present.
it's not a LLC or it's not
Correct.
incorporated or anything like that?
Correct.
Okay, all right. You may proceed.
Okay. To answer your question, my wife and I purchased this property earlier in the year. We had been kind of looking for our own land. Said we're long-time landowners in Oldham County. We all grew up here, and we were kind of looking for our own personal thing. It didn't work out. Our kids go to a different school, so we liked the land so much and the layout that we decided to purchase it as an investment. The whole reason for this waiver is, the kind of the land dictates to us what lots should be on there. I'm not going in saying I need to split this up to make so much money. I'm looking at it, at the land itself. This is how the lots lay out. Lot 4 is very similar to the lots that are already in Winters Estates. They're 5 to 10 acre lots. This is right there. Same kind of profile with that. Same with lot 2 and 3, kind of sit up on a hill. So they actually fall away this way, and lot 4 falls away that way. So, the way they're set up, it's just perfect to put a house. If somebody wanted a walkout basement, they would be able to do that. The land kind of dictated to us that this is where the lot should be. And that's why we came, we looked at doing a major subdivision. It's just, we're small business owners here. I work in Louisville. We're just kind of starting this business up to, look at investments, and we know we can invest in different places, but we'd rather do it where, not only where we live, but our kids go to school and things like that. So that's, why we're doing what we're doing. We want to take this, I said we're looking for ourselves, and there's just not a lot of lots these sizes in Oldham County anymore. And you can find small subdivisions, big houses, things like that. But I think there's a need in this community to have this size lot, where someone can still have a small, a small farm on it if they want to. If they want to have a couple horses on there, they can do that without having to have 20, 30 acres, something like that. This lot 4 there has a beautiful barn on it. It was the way I understand it, this farm was much bigger at one time and had a dairy and things like that in there. So it's set up to be able to do things like that. And I think that's what, there's going to be a need in our community to do things like that. Those places are disappearing. And we saw a niche that we wanted to fill and thought this would be a great opportunity to do that and still fit in with the neighborhood around us. We have 4-board fencing all around. We're going to keep that. It's important for us, as landowners in Oldham County, as stakeholders, that we do this the right way. And when we went in to say this is how we want to split, well, you got to do a major subdivision. The economics don't. For me to do a 4 acres and make it a major subdivision, is just the economics do not work out. We would have to put 7 or 8 lots on there, and I would rather not do that. That's not what I'm about. I'm about preserving the land, preserving it for the wildlife, preserving it for our neighbors around us, and that's really our plan. That's what we're here to do today, and we're just wanting to make it into the 4 lots, so we can do that. Lot 1 has a house on there. It's going to stay the way it is. Lot 2 and Lot 3 are just they're almost mirror images of each other, the way they fall away. And then Lot 4 is kind of long and narrow with the fall away towards the back. So I appreciate the opportunity to come before you. I don't like asking for a waiver. It's just I felt like there wasn't any other way to do this, and that's why we're doing it. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone, does that complete your application then, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, presentation. All right, is there anyone else here to speak in support of this application? Okay, seeing no one, we'll now move into, is there anyone here that is opposed to this application or has questions? Anyone opposed or has questions? Okay, seeing no one, Commissioners, we'll open it up for questioning of the applicant at this time.
The last
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which Ariel?
you got something? Okay. So are you, oh, I'm sorry, I thought.
Just-
Oh, okay, okay, sorry. I was waiting on you. Is there any questions? Mr. Finney?
I have a question for Mr. Dobson. The existing house that's on the property right now, what is being done with it?
We are currently renting it out to a local family here in Oldham County and plan to keep doing that.
So you plan on keeping it as a rental?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Horton?
Well, that was one of my questions. The other is, how long have you, well, you have, since you don't live there, how long have you owned this property?
We bought it in March, I believe, of this year. So
March of this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Douglas?
I commend you that you've already talked to the health department, obviously, to ensure that's septic.
Thank you.
My only question is on Lot 1, is any of the lateral lines or septic lines on any of the other lots?
It does run into Lot 2, so we would have to relocate. You know, if we do sell Lot 2, we've already talked to the health department about moving the septic to the front of the 1.5 acres, and that's actually some of the best ground to have a septic system. So we've already got plans to be able to put a lift station in to pump it into the laterals in the front of the house. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any easement issues on the other property. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay, Mr. Horton?
So you don't live on the property, and it was an investment, so you bought this for the idea of a resale, I presume, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, when we bought it, you know, like I said, we were looking ourselves. It's just we decided that we would want to stay on our side. You know, our kids are in high school and they're in sports, and you know, it's just too much of a thing to move there. So instead of buying it for ourselves, we decided to make it into an investment. So kind of half-heartedly went into the investment after we decided we liked the property.
How long do you think it would be before you'd be putting these on the market or selling them?
Well, I mean, we would be pretty quickly. I mean, it's to be honest, I didn't want to have to come in front of you all right now, so we actually put them up for sale, you know, as bigger pieces, you know, and so if they'll sell it this, then we'll only split it into the three parts, you know, as we have right to do. It's just, you know, we like I said, you know, instead of letting someone else buy a lot that eventually splits it in 5 years, I would rather do it myself. I mean, it makes sense for me to do that. I think I've identified the investment. I put the work in, and then, you know, this farm was not in disrepair, but it, you know, like any farm, it's a lot of work. So, you know, we're putting that work in to maintain it and improve upon it. So, you know, we would like to, you know, get the reward as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any additional questions? Additional questions? All right. Seeing none, do you have a final statement you'd like to make?
Yeah, I just want to say, reiterate, you know, my wife and I, we were born in Oldham County. We graduated from South Oldham High School. We've went to college, came back here with my family. You know, we are very much about wanting to do what's best for this community. And I appreciate what you all doing. It's been education for me to sit in here and hear some of these issues that are facing Oldham County. I just want to make sure you understand that I'm trying to do not only what's best for my family, but what is best for Oldham County. You know, I realized I could try to put a bigger subdivision in there and probably make more money at it, but that's not what I'm about. I see these farms disappearing, you know, around me. I've been here long enough to see a lot of things that aren't the way it was when I grew up, and I want places that people can have, you know, these larger, you know, sections of land if they want it. And that's really what I'm about doing and hope to do in the future as well. So I appreciate your time and your consideration.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, docket PZ 18016 is completed, and I'll call on Mr. Urban to outline what's being requested here on the waiver.
Well, as you can see on the screen in front of you, it's a waiver from Section 2.2 of the subdivision regulations regarding minor plat subdivisions to allow the creation of 4 divisions in less than 5 years, and then approval of the minor plat if you so choose to waive the requirements.
Okay? Commissioners, you've heard what's being requested. Mr. Carter, is there anything you need to add?
No, sir.
Okay. Chair would now entertain a motion on the waiver request of Section 2.2 on docket PZ 18016. Any motions? Mr. Falvey?
I'll try it. I'd like to make the motion to approve the minor subdivision plat recommended in PZ 18-016. It does comply with a number of objectives in the comprehensive plan, and it seems to make sense for the surrounding area to subdivide it in this manner.
Okay. Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Okay. Got a motion adequately presented. Do we have a second? Okay. Oh, Ms. Smith, did I hear you second? Okay, Mrs. Smith. Okay, any discussion now on the motion to approve a waiver on Section 2.2? Yes, sir, Mr. Klingenfuss.
I have some problems with, it's circumventing one of our rules, and the hardship seems to be self-created when somebody buys it 6 months ago and then wants to divide it again. I just have some concerns with that.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? Mr. Feeney?
The lot is easily divided into 3 areas with drainage properly going in the right direction, so there wouldn't be any conflict with drainage, and it states that it's not for financial gain or dividing, he's not dividing it extra to make more money off of it, but if he can sell it in 3 lots that drain correctly, why does he need a waiver if it's not for extra money?
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay. We ready to vote? All right. None. No, this is on docket PZ 18016, a request of a waiver of Section 2.2 of the subdivision regulations to allow 4 divisions within 5 years in approval of the minor plat. So go ahead and we'll do the vote. This is a motion to approve.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Horton? No. Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Mr. Halfling?
Yes.
Mr. Finney?
No.
Mr. Falvey?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas? Yes. Ms. Crosby?
Yes.
Ms. Bonet?
Yes.
Mr. Misker?
Yes.
Mr. Klingenfuss?
No.
No. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
All right, the motion on docket PZ 18016 on the approval of the waiver of Section 2.2 and approval of the minor plat has been approved on a vote of 9-3. So we will take a about a 10-minute recess here to get reset for our next docketed item.
Do you need 10 minutes?
No, but it'll be 10 minutes.